All right, guys, welcome to video number 2. So for this video, we're going to focus on writing the equation from a table and from a graph. So we're going to look at our slope-intercept form. So this is our slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. When we have our table, you need to find the slope first, which is our y2 minus y1 over our x2 minus x1. And of course, our rise over run. Now, when you see a 0 on the table, so when your 0 is at x, what that means is that is my y-intercept. Because wherever x is 0, that number that goes with your y is where you start. So that is where you are starting. So thankfully, they've already given us our y-intercept. So I don't need to find out what my y-intercept is. They've already given it to me. So my M and my B. What is B? When x is 0, your y-intercept is the number next to it, or number with it. When x is 0, the y-intercept is this one on the table. Now, you may not always see a 0. Sometimes it may have something else, which means you'd have to go back to the other video that we did and use 2 points, two sets of points. So this, like this and this, in order to find this, okay? So looking at the table that they've given us, because they've given us one that's a little bit simpler, we're going to find out what our slope is. So I'm going to take these 2 points and these 2 points. This is my x1, so let me put that in a different color. I'm going to say this is my x1, and this is my y1, and I want this to be my x2, and this to be my y2. Okay? Does that make sense? I'm going to try to use this space over here, because I think I made this a little too big. Try to make that a little lot smaller. Okay. So the formula says y2 first, so I've got 10. y2 minus y1, 10 minus $6.25. And then I've got my x2, which is 1, minus my x1, which is 0. So if I do 10 minus 6 and 25 hundredths, I'm going to get 3. We'll do this down here. 3 and 75 hundredths over 1. And anytime you have a number divided by 1, it's just going to be that number. So this number here goes up here. 3, 7, 5. Now I am ready to show my equation. The same thing we did in the other videos. I'm going to do y equals my slope, which is $3.75 times whatever the x value is, the number of drinks, plus $6.25. I'm going to rewrite that down here. I just want to make sure that I left this up here so you can see it. Okay. So I found my slope using my slope equation, which allowed me to take that information and put it into my equation. Why am I writing so big, y'all? What is going on? I'm sorry. $3.75 times the number of drinks plus where I have to start, which is my total cost. So the scenario we're working with was actually a movie. So in order to get into the movie theater, I think, for the movie and the popcorn, I think, something like that. You'll see the scenario on the notes, but the scenario is not as important as getting this information and making sure you understand where we got this from. Remember, we got this from using our equation, and then we got this because they gave it to us. We looked at the chart and we said, okay, this and this makes sense. The 0, whenever x is 0, your y is your y-intercept. I'll leave that up there. In fact, what I might do is go ahead and put the equation back in here. That way you can see where we got that from. I'll just make it a little bit smaller, which gave me 375 over 1. And then we got that, which we put over here. And then we have that, okay? So let's look at when it's on a graph. So we're going to say that this is brown sugar. So these are cups of brown sugar. And down here, I'm gonna put it up here since we don't have enough space. But down here, I'm going to write, what was this one? Butter. So cups of butter. Butter in cups. And this is our brown sugar. Actually, I think I want to use that space. So I'm going to say brown sugar. There we go. When you have this, the first thing you want to do is look at your points. Well, let's think. If we were using this to bake cookies, if I do not bake any cookies at all, then my starting point is just going to be 0. I have no starting point. I'm not baking anything. It's just 0. Okay? Now, normally we don't really put 0, but I'll show you after we do the answer. We need to find out what our slope is. We're going to do the exact same thing we did up here for the table. We're going to do that down here. So I already marked our points. Our points are 4 and 3. So let's write our points here. We have 4 and 3. And we also have, so that's 4, 3. We also have 8 and 6. 8 and 6. So those are the 2 points we have to work with. Same thing I did here is the same thing I'm doing here. I am using the exact same equation. Let me get this guy out of here because he is messing us up here. We don't need him. There we go, because we got him down here. So I'm going to create my slope equation. So my x2 and my x1, remember the first thing I said you needed to do? Give them a last name. x1, y1, x2, y2. Give them their last name. Now we've identified our points by giving them a last name, their identity. I'm going to insert or substitute those numbers. So I have 6. And it's going to be just real, it's very repetitive, guys. It's the exact same concept every single time. 6 minus 3. 8 minus 4. Well, 6 minus 3 is going to give me what? 6 minus 3 is going to give me 3. And 8 minus 4 is going to give me what? 4. So now I know what my slope is. My slope is 3/4. So I can go over here and I can create my equation. Y equals, what is my slope? My slope is 3/4. I keep my x. And what is my b? 0. Now, normally, we would not write a 0. The 0 is assumed. So what you do is you just don't put it. So anytime you see an equation like this, y equals 3/4 x, just know that that is because the line is going to start at 0. Your line starts at 0. My line starts at 0. If I don't bake any cookies, then I don't need any butter and I don't need any brown sugar. That's just 0. So your line starts at 0. Okay? 0, 0. Not just 0 for my x, but 0 for my x and 0 for my y. Both of them are 0. When both of those coordinates are 0, when that coordinate pair is 0 for both, I should say, that sounds better. That means your starting point is 0. Because remember, our y-intercept is our starting point. We've gone over that. Our starting point is 0. So all you have to do is write your slope. If you have any questions, make sure you're uploading them on Google Classroom. You can email them to me. You can send a video of where you're getting stuck. I will review it and try and get back to you probably with another video just to kind of make the clarification, because clarifying it through words is not as productive as showing you where you're getting stuck, or why you keep getting the answer wrong. Okay. I am available for you guys. Just make sure that you reach out to me. The notes will be uploaded on Google Classroom as well as the assignments, and I will see you guys next week.